Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to be just throwing on some makeup because I have some new things that I really want to test out because there just have been some mixed reviews, and what I'm talking about is the new Patrick Ta. This is called the Major Dimension Eyeshadow Palette. So I had some star credit at Sephora and I went ahead and picked this up. She is very, very beautiful. I did swatch some of the shimmers today and I have some thoughts. So we will see, hopefully that it translates well on the eyes, because some of them did feel pretty dry, not silky smooth like you would hope, especially for the $68 price tag. Right off the bat, you would hope it'd be something like Natasha Denona, Charlotte Tilbury, things of that nature. I have not touched the mattes yet. I just applied my skincare, so my fingers are a little, like a little moisturized, and I don't want to dip into the powders and cause like any hard pan. But I'm going to try it on the eyes, and that will be the real test. I mean, you never know with just finger swatches. So I don't have anything on my face right now. I just, like I said, applied my sunscreen. I put my skincare, I applied my sunscreen. But I also have a couple new things that I got from Sephora, which include the Huda Beauty, let me grab that, the Huda Beauty Glowish. This is the Multi-Dew Skin Tint. I have mine in the shade Medium 05. And then, sorry, I'm all getting up. And then I also got a couple other things, yeah, that I should actually be trying with you all. So I also picked up the Glowish Soft Radiance Bronzing Powder. I have mine in the shade 2, Medium. Then I also picked up the NARS Radiant Creamy Color Corrector, and I got it in the shade Medium as well. So there are a few things to play with. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm not really going to use any primer just because, I already did prime my face pretty well, and I don't want to add another layer because I'm already pretty glowy. So now I'm going to go in with the Huda Beauty Glowish Multi-Dew Skin Tint. Again, this is in the shade Medium 5, and this is what the packaging looks like. It is very pretty. It has like an iridescent cap, and it is a pump. So I'm going to go ahead and just apply this and see what happens. First, I should probably put my hair back. My hair is still kind of wet from last night, so I apologize. It's not done up all fancy yet. It is still 9:30 in the morning. Haven't had any coffee or anything like that. Just wanted to go ahead and get some makeup on. So I haven't seen much reviews yet on this foundation, but I have seen that it is really glowy. The shade is a tad deep for me, but it is a skin tint, so it should be flexible in the shade. So let me zoom you guys in actually, because I am very glowy. No, like I said, it could be because I had just applied my skincare not too long ago, but I am looking very glowy. So it has nice coverage. It's definitely a light coverage, and it is covering a little bit of my blemishes that I have, but it seems like it's staying very tacky on the skin, and I have a hair on my face. But there is a lot of glow going on. So we will see if that sets down, but I mean the finish is pretty if you don't mind a very, very radiant skin tint. So I'm just going to go ahead and put some powder on my brows. Per usual, I have the KVD Brow Stroke Powder in the shade Medium Brown. Or actually, let me go ahead and put some primer on. I like to use the Rare Beauty, but I have to let it set for a little bit. I can't just really go in with the eyeshadow off the bat because I find that it stays a little tacky, and then my eyeshadow will like drag and skip and get a little patchy. Okay, so now that that is done, let's go ahead and go in with the Patrick Ta eyeshadow palette. Again, she looks like this. Ooh, and it has a little window here for the cream bases for the shadows. So let's go in and use one of those bases just to see how it works out. I'm just going to go ahead and use this brush by ColourPop. I'm going to dip into this slightly lighter cream shade in here. I said it on my Instagram, but I really wish that he had made like a beigey cream shade instead of two deep ones. That would have been nice, so you can do like a cut crease or even lay down, you know, a nice blank canvas for your eyeshadow. So I'm just going to go ahead and lay this down. And I've heard that this kind of dries down fast, so I'm just going to blend it out before I go ahead and add more. But it does look really pretty. Let me zoom you guys in again. Okay, so this is what one like light layer looks like. Not too bad. It's not too intense. I was afraid it's going to look really, really deep. But I'm going to go ahead and add another layer and see. So that does look pretty. It wasn't hard to blend out. And I'm gonna do the other eye. So yeah, it seems to be blending out really well, really easily. It's not getting patchy or hard to blend. It's not dragging. And it's not too deep on my skin tone. Okay, so let's go ahead and go in with some powder. So I'm just gonna kind of use this shade to just kind of set everything. Or maybe I should go in with something else. You know what? Let me go in with this powder instead. This shade, which is the third one. I'll put this on the lid. There goes a trash up. Okay, so that is one. Kind of just dip into the powder on each eye, and I don't notice any issues with it so far. It's not like powdery at all. It's a little hard pressed, but you still get pigment It didn't drag on top of the cream base at all. It doesn't look patchy at all in person, so let's keep going. So now I'm just gonna grab a little bit of this deeper shade right here and just kind of put that on the outer third, just to slightly start building up. And again, I'm not noticing any issues. The mattes seem to be blending out well, not getting patchy, it's not powdery. So I had high hopes for the formula, especially the powders, because he does his powders really well and his creams. So I had high hopes for these creams. But let's see how these shimmers perform, because like I said, they felt really dry when I swatched them. Okay, so I'm gonna use my finger and I'm gonna go ahead and use this shade right here. As you can see, it looks kind of textured, which is what always gives me a concern when I see these kind of shadows, that they're gonna be crumbly and they're gonna have a lot of fallouts and they're not gonna apply well. So this is what the shade looks like. So it's definitely very sparkly. I think the cream base is actually helping it apply, adhere to the lid really well, because I'm not noticing any fallout with this shade. Because it still feels tacky on my lid, the cream base. I can feel it as I'm applying the shadow. So it looks pretty. So now I'm just gonna kind of blend out the edges a little bit with no additional product. I really do like these shades in this palette. If it works out, I feel like it's something I can reach for every day if I need a matte, like a good transition shade. Okay, so let's move on to the rest of the face. So I am going to use the NARS Radiant Creamy Color Corrector. I have it in the shade medium. This is what the tube looks like. It has a little window here with the shade. It says NARS right here. And it has the tiniest little applicator. I'm just going to apply that there. And then if I could find my brush. This is just a Sephora brush from their like magnetic connection. I'm not sure if they have it anymore. It was like $5. So I think it's doing a good job of color correcting. It's blending out super easily. It is creamy, so it doesn't look drawing under the eyes. Believe it or not, but I'm actually, I don't know, I could never get into the actual Radiant Creamy Concealer. Okay, so that is what it looks like. You can definitely see the tint. So let's go ahead and cover that up. So I am going to just go ahead and use my Dior Forever Skin Correct Concealer. I have it in the shade 2WO. Just to cover that up. And this is the also a Sephora brush. This is the number 47. This is a foundation brush, but I like to use it for concealer. It just blends out everything so fast. So what I can tell you about the skin tint so far is that I am still very, very glowy. So if you have oily skin, not sure you're going to like this. You will have to set your face. Even I am going to set my face. My skin still feels very tacky, like it has not dried. I don't know if it will dry, but this is a lot of glow, which of course that is how the product is marketed as, but yeah, there's a lot of glow. Okay, so like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and set my face. Let's see, so I'm gonna use my Pat McGrath. It's all messed up. My Pat McGrath under eye powder. This is in the shade medium. It's all messed up. I think my son dropped it or I dropped it at one point and it broke. So I'm just going to lightly set, and this is the Wayne Goss airbrush. So I'm just gonna set my T-zone. Brush here. So yeah, now that we've powdered, it definitely looks better. I mean, I'm still very glowy on the perimeter of my face, but I look so much better in the center of my face. Definitely is a product that you would have to set with powder. If you have dry skin, you would probably absolutely love it. So let me go ahead and put on some mascara, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so we are back. It has been a few hours since I last applied my makeup. I was just going to apply my mascara, and then things happened. I ate. We were outside with the kids for a while. It's like almost 90 degrees. So yeah, a lot happened, and I did have to touch up my makeup a little bit. I had some of the foundation or the skin tint wear off on my chin. My face did get a little wet earlier, so it is not waterproof, but that's okay. And then I just kind of touched up in this area because I was getting a little oily. But other than that, I mean, you can still see the radiance from the skin tint. So I still don't have any bronzer, blush, highlighter on, anything like that. Just the eyes are done. So now we can go in with the bronzer, which is the Huda Beauty Glowish Soft Radiance Bronzing Powder. I have mine in the shade 2 Medium. So let's go ahead and open her up. So this comes in a pretty like plastic packaging. And then this is what the powder looks like. So it's like that swirly texture. When you look at it, it looks like it's going to be like a spongy kind of a formula, but it really is a powder. So I'm just going to go ahead and swatch it. It looks fairly neutral. It is on my thumb, my middle finger right here. Let's see if it shows up on camera. So it's fairly light, but maybe when you swirl all the shades together, it'll look a little bit darker. So it is right there. So we'll see, maybe it'll apply different to the face. So for my brush, let's see. I am going to use, so this is from Bristles Beauty. This is the F10RL. Looks like this, a big fluffy brush. It's like the same size as this. So the thing about this formula is like there's no fallout. It's not powdery, but it is building up really pretty and really nicely. It looks almost like a neutral warm shade. So it's showing up really subtle on my skin tone. I'm wondering if because of the swirls in here, kind of like the hourglass bronzers, where sometimes you get it either with too much of the pigment or too little. So sometimes some powders are a little bit more deeper, a little bit more fair, depending on how much of the marbling is going through it. But I mean, it is a pretty shade. I just have to build it up a little bit. And it is going on really like seamlessly. So I mean, I could probably even pick up a deeper shade than this for my skin tone. Okay, well, I'm just gonna leave it at that. All right, so now for blush, I am going to use one of the new Pat McGrath blushes that she came out with. The one that I am going to try today is Flirtatious. It's one of the paler shades that she has, and I've gotten questions as to whether it would work on my skin tone. I have used it before, but I had mixed it with another shade, so I can't really tell how it looked on its own. So of course I cannot find it. Okay, so here's what she looks like. It is a very cool, like pinky nude shade. Probably won't work with this eye look, but I want to go ahead and try it, and then if it doesn't work, we can just put something on over top. So I'm going to use my Sonia G soft cheek brush. And we'll just see. Now the formula of these blushes are so good. They're so soft and creamy and blendable. So this is showing up on my skin tone. I just have to build it up a little bit. But if you're doing like a really dramatic smoky eye, or you know, like a really bright eye, this would be a good option just to add some color to the cheeks, which I do reach for those kind of blushes now and again. But yeah, I think it's totally showing up on my skin tone. I only had to dip into this blush twice for each side. I'm not sure. I think this is the Demi Matte formula, because this doesn't have any shimmer or anything in it. But yeah, I mean, it totally does show up. So I'm just going to go over top with another shade just to warm it up, since this is more of a like cool toned blush. So let's go ahead and try, let's see. So I haven't tried this one yet. So this is Nude Venus. This is what she looks like. Let me swatch it. So it's more pinky in tone. So there she is right there. This one I'm just going to put like further back on my cheekbones. Here comes a trash truck again. Okay, I think that's enough blush. All right, so I do have a new highlighting product. It is from Vive. So this is Jamie Genevieve's makeup line, and this is called the Skin Dew Glow Multitasker. This is a liquid highlighter. I have tried this once before, and it's for sure a skin dew. It leaves your skin dewy. So I just want to try it over top of some powder products and see how it works out. Okay, so here's what it looks like. I will tell you that the consistency is a little more on the thick side compared to the Glow Lust by Auric and compared to the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. This feels almost like a moisturizer. Like, I think mixed with a moisturizer would be beautiful. It is like a champagne-y shade. She only has one shade available. But when you blend it out onto the skin, it is fairly translucent. So I think it would work on a multitude of skin tones. Even if you're fair. Because once you blend it out, like I said, it kind of shears out fairly well. But on camera, let me tell you, that looks really, really pretty. So what I did notice when I tried it yesterday is that it does stay a little tacky on the skin. Not so much where your like hair might stick to your face kind of a thing, but it does not fully dry down. So just keep that in mind if that is something that you do not like. But I mean, look at, doesn't your skin look glowy and dewy? So that does look really pretty actually. Like, I think on your collarbones and on your shoulders, it'd be really pretty. And it doesn't, I feel like it has a scent to it, but it smells like skincare. Okay, so this is like really pretty. I don't know how powder would act over this, but let's give it a try. So I am going to use the Pat McGrath, lots of Pat McGrath cheek products, but she did launch an amazing collection of cheek products. So I'm going to use her highlighter from the Divine collection. This is in Golden Nectar. Looks like this. It is definitely like a golden highlighter. So this is what it looks like. But it's not too gold, like in your face. So hopefully you can see when I apply it. I'm just gonna apply a little bit just on the high points of my cheekbones. And my brush is kind of sticking to this because it is so, like, the Skin Dew is tacky. But we are glowing. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and finish this up with a lip. Just gonna keep it really simple. I don't think I really have anything new in front of me. So I'm just gonna use my Pat McGrath Blow Up Balm. All right, and that is the finished look. So let's go ahead and get into my thoughts. Okay, so let's start with the Huda Beauty Glowish Multi-Dew Skin Tint. As you can see, when I was applying it, my skin was very, very radiant, very, very glowy. I knew immediately I had to put some powder on, and that helped a lot. It did stay tacky on the skin for quite a while, but after a few hours, I found that it started to dry down a little bit and look much better. It wasn't as radiant, but my skin still had a nice sheen going on. I did kind of have to touch up a little bit and add some more powder, but then again, like I said, I was outside, we were playing with water, and my face got wet, so you know, it was just bound to happen. No big deal. It probably would have happened with like any foundation, unless I was wearing like a super full coverage water resistant foundation or something like that. But I mean, overall it's looking pretty good. It didn't break down on me. It's not doing like any weird thing where it's settling in my fine lines or breaking down or getting patchy anywhere. I did not use a primer. I just had sunscreen on before I applied the foundation, which could have contributed a lot to the glow because I had put on my sunscreen and then probably 10 minutes after started applying this, so that probably had a lot to do with how much glow I had on my face. But I could see myself using this again, just because it's wearing really nicely, and then if you powder, I think it makes the skin tint look that much better. If you're dry, you probably won't have to powder. You'll like all the glow, but so far, not bad. And then for the bronzer, so this is the Glowish Soft Radiance bronzing powder. Again, I probably could have picked up a deeper shade in this because I really did have to build it up, but I did like the tone of it, and it blended out really well. It looks like really airbrushed because of the kind of formula that it is. It's not powdery at all. There was no fallouts. Like I said, I just had to build up the shade a little bit. It gives like a satin kind of effect on the skin, so it's not bad. It's nice. I probably would just like to pick up a deeper shade that would, you know, kind of show up on my skin a little quicker. But if you don't mind like a buildable bronzer and you're like around my skin tone, then you can get away with this shade for sure. And then next, let's talk about eyes. So the Major Dimension, what's this called? Major Dimension eyeshadow palette. So when you saw me apply it, I used the cream shade here, the lighter of the two, and it blended out really well. Didn't get patchy on me, and it does dry down fairly fast, but not too fast. And when I applied the powders over top, there was no dragging, there was no skipping, and I think that really helped when I put on this like glittery shade, that there was no fallout at all. And even now, like, everything is still intact, and I think that really has to do with the cream base that I used. It's also really not as deep as it is in the pan. It kind of does shear out, and you can build it up. Not too much because I'm afraid it'll probably get a little thick on the eye since it is a cream formula. But overall, I mean, I did like how it performed. I really don't have anything negative to say about it. I guess I would say is that these two shades, they kind of look a little similar when you apply them to the eye. These are definitely like toppers. So here's what they look like. So you can see they are just very slight in the shade, but there's not a lot of opacity behind these two, so that's probably my complaint about this palette, is I wish there was more of a difference in those shades when they showed up on your eyes. But I think that's about it. Now, do I think it's worth the $68 price tag? Probably not. And that's because I find you can create the same kind of eye looks with the Natasha Denona bronze palette. That one immediately came to my mind. Every single shade of that palette is beautiful. The mattes are blendable and creamy, and that one doesn't really have like glitter topper shades, I would say, like this one. This one, if you don't mind glitter and some sparkle, you would like to patch your top for sure. I mean, I don't reach for kind of like glitter toppers on the daily, but this is really pretty still. It's not something that is too dramatic, like unless you want it to be. So I think for daytime, it's still really pretty. But am I glad that I have the palette? Absolutely. I did have store credit when I purchased it, and I would probably purchase it when it came on sale, like at Sephora, like the Sephora sale or something like that. So it's really up to you, and you know, if you want to spend the money on the palette. Like I said, I really did enjoy it. I don't have any issues with it except for those two topper shades, but it's really pretty, and I could see myself reaching for the mattes in that palette if I just want to throw something on really quick. So yeah, it's up to you. I like it. I will continue to keep using it. So I almost forgot to include the Vive Skin Dew Glow Multitasker. So I did try this once yesterday, just on a bare face, nothing on at all. And now that I've put like a full face of makeup on and applied it, I think it is really beautiful. But like I said, it definitely stays tacky on the skin, a little sticky. So if you don't like that, and you probably won't enjoy this. I don't know that my hair, well, you can see my hair kind of does stick to it. So if it's a windy day, just keep that in mind. But if you love the dew, you will really like this. The shade is really, really pretty. I think it would be flattering on a lot of skin tones, especially like a little bit deeper, like medium to deep. Fair, you can probably just use a tiny bit and it'll sheer out and still look really, really pretty on the skin. But I mean, just look at that. So I am definitely going to be using this again. My birthday is coming up in a few days and I am going to look very glowy and very dewy when I go out to dinner that day. But yeah, I really, really did like this, and I'm looking forward to trying this with like moisturizer or maybe foundation. I don't know if that would be too much, but I did like it. So that does it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you again for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will talk to you all in my next video. Bye guys.